All right, so before we get into this video, make sure to go to the description box below and follow our Discord. Yes, it is the Wallz Production official Discord. Become a member. When you go into the Discord, you will go under the reaction videos tab, and you will be able to post your videos that you want me to react to, man. So let's get into this video. What is this? Yes, we are on a kick right now. What is this? See what they talking about here.
Live in like the project or things like that, they are systematically kept to stay there. That's why people are selling drugs. That's what they have to do to
Shorty. No, hold on, man. What's she so?
hood, or people who live in like the project or things like that, they are systematically kept to stay there.
First off, listen. Nobody is systematically kept to stay anywhere. Why? Because you have a mind, you have a brain. You have to use your brain in order to um, think yourself to the level of life that you're at. Where you're at in life right now, you thought yourself to that level of life. Now you have to think yourself to a higher level of life. So nobody systematically put to stay in the hood. No, you we're gonna get into all this though. Like she already, bro. We ain't even look. We're not even. The video ain't even started. We're only 4 seconds in. She's saying some dumb shit. Like
That's why people are selling drugs. That's what they have to do to live, because the government doesn't give them an opportunity to advance or be who they want to be.
that's we gonna get to that because it says coming up. So I guess she says that during the video, but no, Shorty, absolutely not. He said the government doesn't give them a chance to live. If anything, and I'm gonna give y'all some game before we even get into this video. She already rubbed me the wrong way, dude. If anything, people in low income based environments, they're giving every opportunity to grow, to be successful. I'm gonna tell you this. You can get food stamps, which means you don't got to pay for food. You can get free health insurance, which means you don't have to pay for health insurance. Hell, you can get on a living assistance to where you're paying $14 a month, $20 a month, stuff like that, which means that you don't really have a job. You can get what do you call it, electrical assistance, to where you can pay $10 a month towards your electrical bill, and guess what? Taxpayers and everybody else pay the rest. So that's false, man. But anyways, we're gonna get deep into that because I feel like it's gonna be a good one.
Running a gang, speaking like an idiot, not understanding the English language, cutting words off, saying like ax instead of ask, listening to hip hop music, being a whore, shaking ass, twerking. These are all black culture things that are a problem.
All races can do all of those things.
Yeah, but it's black culture that promotes it the most.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm a woman here arguing feminism, but that's just because that's what I'm passionate about.
Okay.
You're another woman here arguing feminism, but because that's what you're passionate about. See, that's the thing I have with that. I'm another woman here arguing feminism because that's what I'm passionate about. But you don't stand for anything. You know, we're about to see what you stand for, Shorty. Since you said that, we're about to see what you stand for. Another feminist. Here we go.
Do you think like equality is the way to improve America?
No.
Equality is the way to build America? No.
Why not?
Because when you go ahead and you prioritize equality, you put people in positions that they don't necessarily deserve because you want to be equal.
But before you just said that like it's good to share ideas with everybody and that's how we improve America.
Yeah, but the ability to share your ideas is contingent upon your competency. So in other words, not everyone's ideology or everyone's opinion matters. And I think that's actually a big issue where we sit here and we take opinions of people that quite frankly aren't qualified or, competent enough to give their ideas.
Well, I think everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Even retards?
You shouldn't use that word unless they're medically deficient in.
See, what he's saying basically is like this. Everybody's opinion, it's what he's saying. Everybody can have an opinion, but everybody's opinion don't matter. You see what I'm saying? I can go over here and have an opinion about some fucking bushwhackers, but really my opinion don't matter to the fucking bushwhackers. You see what I'm saying? Well, I think we're in a world to where people believe that what they say has to be true. What what they say, people have to respect it. No, you don't. You don't have to. I don't have to respect your opinion just because you're empowered by social media, just because you're empowered by a channel, just because you're empowered by a page. I don't have to respect your opinion. I don't have to acknowledge your opinion. I don't have to let your opinion make me uh, think or move in a certain way that you feel like it should make me move. Don't have to. And people need to understand that are those ones that have an opinion and think their opinion means something. Your opinion means something to you. Your opinion doesn't mean something to everybody else. And people are entitled to be like, brush your opinion off and not care about it. And they're not entitled to care about if it hurts your feelings also. That we're living in a very sensitive time where people believe that everything they say has to be heard. Everything they say, somebody must be nice to them, and they must accept it. We're living in a time of acceptance, and people can't uh, understand that I react to what I react to, right? I react to what I react to. Just because a person doesn't like what I react to, just because a person doesn't like the message that I may put out or whatever, that doesn't mean I have to stop doing what I'm doing and change my message for this person. That doesn't mean that. And people need to get over that.
Yeah, it's an offensive word, and I guess you'll laugh at me, but that's okay.
Well, this is exactly why women should be in positions of power, because she's already offended off of a word.
I'm not offended.
You're like, who should use that word?
It's just not a good
It's
word.
words.
No, it is a word, yes, but words have meaning. They have a lot
Words
of
are
meaning.
words. What is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think that's very powerful. We need to get back to using that.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, if you get offended off words, then holy shit, we can't even have a real conversation if words are what is. But it's fine. We can entertain it here.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, look, everyone can be entitled to their opinion, but that does not necessarily mean that you deserve for your opinion to be heard.
Okay, sure, whatever. I just think that you coming up here is why men are the way they are. You're spreading hateful words, which I think is crazy.
Hold on, man. Shorty.
The U.S. even allowed you to come up here and spread.
It's America, First Amendment.
Yeah, but then you just said other people don't have right to opinions.
Yeah. No, again, everyone has freedom of speech, but not all speech matters.
She already lost, bro. See what I'm saying? Already lost. And these are the type of people that men are dealing with out here. This is a prime example. Literally just listening to respond instead of listening to understand. These are the type of people. You're asking, and see what it is a lot of these people, they want a man to bow down to them, but it's like, why would I bow down to you? Like, because you need to do this, and you need to do this for me because I'm this. Like, no, most of you people, and I'm not even gonna put a gender on it. Most of these people are not even qualified to even think that anybody owes them anything. Most of you don't even deserve it.
That's not true. All speech matters.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Your speech mattering is contingent upon your competency and your ideas, and you actually not being a retard, and you being intelligent, being able to convey your ideas in a certain way. Like, there's a reason why people listen to certain people, because they're like, okay, this guy has, good tonality, he's able to speak, he's able to convey himself. No one wants to listen to a bumbling idiot stutter all day like Peter Thiel.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I do agree with that. People have to know how to form their words to get to people who they want to reach.
Absolutely.
And I do agree with that. But I think the fact that what you're spreading, you're the reason why men are the way they are today, and why it's so hateful still towards women.
No, he's not, Shorty. No, he's not. Men are the way they are today is because of how women are. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing that a lot of women and females, y'all don't understand, and y'all probably will never understand it, is that a guy will choose his girlfriend over his guys most of the time. A guy will get clowned by, oh man, hang out with us. Now I'm going home to my girl. Oh man, you whip, you this, you that. That happens more often than not. But on the flip side, if you got a woman trying to be a man, what makes you think a man wants to be with a woman that's trying to be a man, but still remain? See, what makes you think a man wants to be with a woman that's trying to be a man, but they still want you to treat them like a woman? How does that even? How does that even logically make sense? You want to be the man of a relationship, but you want me to treat you like a woman, but I have to act lesser than a man to make you happy. Who goes for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just, what it is there's a lot of crazy people out here. Y'all just confused, man. As people, confused. He's not the reason why men act the way they do. No. Women are the reason men act the way they do. And you're a prime example. No understanding, no logic, no point at all. You're a prime example of that. And she really can't see that. That's the funny thing.
That's why feminism exists, because we're tired of being hit. We're tired of being at the lower bottom of the food chain. And if for you for some reason that's like a problem, because obviously you think we shouldn't have the same rights. You think we shouldn't be equal.
Yeah, I think we need to go back to being second class citizens. We're going to be honest. I don't think you should have the right to vote either, because you guys tend to put idiots in office.
Idiots in office?
You guys do realize that if we had to rely on the female vote, Kamala Harris would be president of the United States right now. Do you guys understand that? Like, we'd be fucking cooked. And that's what happens when you let women get into positions of power.
Well, when men are positioned of power, they cause wars.
Actually, they've done a study on this, and it's women are more likely to cause wars when in a position of power.
But how many wars have been started by men?
Well, men obviously have been the leaders of the majority of the time, but when women are in positions of power, they're more likely to start wars. Actually,
that doesn't even make sense. How you don't? Yes. You're not even on the basis to prove that, because
nobody's on the basis to prove that, Myron. And Shorty's right. As far as the base, Shorty's right as far as the basis to prove that, because where in time and history that since we've all been alive has a woman been in charge and has a woman led the charge of a war. So there's no. Now, if you want to go all the way back to the mythology days and all of that stuff, you want to go all the way back there and stuff like that. Okay, cool. But if we're talking in the 1990s and above, it's all been men. So to me, there's no history since I've been alive of a woman creating a war. So both of y'all's points are kind of irrelevant in a way.
You guys haven't allowed women to be in positions of power.
I'm saying when they have been in positions of power, they're more likely to create wars. And you know what the other part is too? That's funny. Women actually prefer to be under male authority. Like when they polled women, would you rather work for a man or a woman? Most women actually prefer to work for men versus working for women, because the problem with women is that when you guys have your little circles and everything else like that, like you guys have like this weird beef and stuff like that, where you guys don't really convey your ideologies to each other. It's like, oh, I don't like her because she's pretty, so like you guys lie to each other all the time. For example, girls will go out, like let's say you guys are going to go to the club, right? And like there's one fat girl in the group and she's wearing a dress and she looks like shit. You guys will sit there and be like, oh, like put on this dress because it'll look better. When in reality, you just don't want to tell her that she looks fat and you guys are going to get in. Like with men, it's not the same. We're around each other. Hey, dude, you look like change. We got to fucking get in here, whatever. Like men are honest with each other. Women aren't, right? And that's a problem. And that bleeds into many other different things.
Yeah, I do agree that women being fake towards each other is a problem, because the only way we'll advance or be better or get tired of all this bigotry and hatred is the fact that we work together.
Bigotry is good.
Why?
Because it identifies problems a lot of the time, so you can recognize pattern and then put yourself in a position where it's like, damn, I'm walking down the street right now, it's 4 black guys, I'm gonna cross. Like, I'm obviously being funny here a little bit, but the reality is like pattern recognition is good. I'll give you an example. Like as you were coming up to the mic, you were very polite and everything else like that. Nice, voice, whatever. So you're like beating stereotypes. But normally girls that look like you are like, well, what you talking about?
Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We are not being racist on this. No.
Racism is the reality.
Yes, it is a reality.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it okay. I don't know what your race is or anything, but you obviously have darker skin.
Yeah.
So obviously, even when you're walking down the street, people are going to judge you. You are not the top of the food chain that you think. Above you are white men. And even now, when you're preaching to them, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I get it. But they still don't like you because of what you look like.
So here's the thing that I really like that you said that. So here's the thing, right? What I've realized with men is men typically operate on competency and meritocracy. So in other words, if a guy's competent and he's doing what he's supposed to do and he's successful, other men respect that regardless of skin color. Because men, we are hierarchical, women are not. You guys are based on like, oh, who's the prettiest and who's cool. Like, you guys are not like us when it comes to status, right? Or understanding meritocracy. Like, men are value-based. For example, with a group of men, it's like, okay, this guy's the most competent. He's going to be a leader. We have fucking identified roles immediately. There was a show called Bear Grylls, right? Like Survivor, where they had men on an island and women on an island. The men quickly assimilated into groups, figured out who was the most competent at what, had fire built, shelter built, clean water, etc. The women, on the other hand, almost fucking died because they didn't want to go ahead and kill a pig. They were bitching about other things. I don't want to do this, blah, blah. So in other words, it was pandemonium. They couldn't figure shit out. So the point is, regardless of skin color, a lot of the times, when it comes to men, we understand and respect talent. This is why some of the most racist guys will still acknowledge and be like, yeah, Michael Jordan was cool, because men respect competency regardless of skin color. Women don't, though, a lot of times. You guys are based on some other weird shit. So despite the fact that you're saying like, oh yeah, these people are racist or whatever, the racism is fine. I don't give a shit about that because it's always going to exist. I look at it like this: prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. Don't be the stereotype. You're doing a good job of it right now. You're not being the Shaniqua that normally women are. So that's great.
Okay, sure, whatever.
No, shorty, it ain't no. It ain't no okay, sure. Hold on, man. It ain't no okay, sure, whatever. It's not that. No, acknowledge the point that he just made, man. Everything he said, I don't necessarily agree with him because guys do respect success, but guys do respect success, but it's always gonna be the race problem. We get that, stuff like that, but acknowledge his point, shorty. You're not trying to see what I'm saying. Like immediately, it's almost like it's sickening, man. It's almost like a sickness in people to where they just can't acknowledge that somebody knows more than them. Like whenever they can't acknowledge that their point that they had really means nothing. It's on a larger scale because somebody knows more than you about this. It's just sickening, bro. Like you can just look, it's just sickening. Okay, yeah, whatever. Like you just discredited everything. Females operate and y'all on some weird ass stuff that only y'all understand. Just it's hilarious, man. It's just so hilarious to watch, and this should give you a little details into how people in America are just failing as human beings, man. Smiling. Because here's the thing. I always tell people this: a mouth will tell ears anything. A mouth will tell ears anything. As long as ears are listening, a mouth's gonna tell you anything. It's not in what a person's saying, it's their expressions. If a person's saying, yeah, whatever, but they're smiling, like you know what I'm saying? They know they got cooked. Because what are you smiling about? Huh? What's so funny? What's so funny in a heated discussion to where you're trying to be serious? You gotta look at people's actions. Now look at her rebuttal. Lost this argument. She completely lost this argument. Now I guarantee you she switches off to something else because that argument she lost. But she won't admit it. Why? Because she can't admit to a man that she lost an argument to a dude. She's not a feminist. You're not a feminist, shorty. You're a fake feminist. You're not one. You're trying to be something that you will never be.
And I think that's just not okay to say. Obviously, people are raised.
Everyone here was thinking it when you walked up to the mic. They thought you were going to be like on some Shaniqua shit. Why do you think they were going, oh?
Okay, actually, it's also depends on where you were raised. Hood or people who live in like the project or things like that, they are systematically kept to stay there. That's why people are selling drugs. That's why that's what they have to do to live, because the government doesn't give them an opportunity to advance or be who they want to be. So you'll stereotype.
I think it's the culture. I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's a problem culture. I think there's also like genetics involved in it to a degree. Who is the congresswoman, a black one?
hold on. I'm gonna answer this because we from the hood. So I disagree with you saying, Shorty. Back to my point that I was making at the beginning of the video. People in the hood have the best opportunity. Now that I look back on it, now that I look back on it, and I see the state of the world with all the technology and everything that's going on, people in the hood actually have the best opportunity to actually succeed. And I'm gonna get into this because, like I said, you can get free rent, or you can pay $7 to $14 a month for rent. Electric is $10 or it's free. You can get food stamps, which can supplement you spending cash. You can get Section 8 housing. You can get free insurance. You can get in all type of free government assistance program. Like if you got kids, child care. They have free transportation programs to where if you don't have no way to work, people will come and pick you up and drive you and take you to work. So that's false with all the technology we have now. Now, early 90s and maybe 70s, 80s, completely agree. Completely agree that you were set up and you were stuck there because you didn't have no knowledge and the people around you didn't have no knowledge or nothing like that. But now with all this technology, Google and stuff like that, you can type stuff completely different. People can no longer use, oh, I'm from the hood, so this is why I sell this is why I sell that. No, it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality and a choice thing. If you're going around people who just selling stuff, killing stuff, and doing all that, then of course, that's the only mentality that you're going to know, because you didn't take the time to sit down and educate yourself outside of what you saw. But that's false nowadays. People can't use that no more. They can't. People can no longer use that excuse. I grew up in the hood, so that's why I'm here. No, it's a choice-based thing. There's too many tools out here nowadays that helps people from low income upbringing or in terrible situations succeed. You can't use that no more.
What's her name? The
Are
idiot that
black?
always, she comes from a rich, affluent area.
Are you black?
Yeah, I am. She comes from a rich. Even if I wasn't, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
it does matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's a
Obviously,
word.
you haven't been. Have you been
what's her
affected
name,
by
guys?
racism
What's that
before?
fucking Congress? What is it? Jasmine Crockett. Bam. She comes from an affluent area. She talks like a fucking retard. She goes out and adheres to all the stereotypes, despite the fact that she didn't come from that. Why? Because it's culturally cool to be rude, obnoxious, loud, talk in a way where you're, destroying the English language and using Ebonics. She doesn't come from that. But why is she doing that? To go ahead and get her constituents to think that she's the same when she doesn't come from that. So we have a culture problem when it comes to the black community. Being is considered being cool. And I'm here to say it's not cool.
It's not cool on what term? Like in the terms of America or whatever?
Joining a gang, speaking like an idiot, not understanding the English language, cutting words off, saying like ax instead of ask, right? Listening to hip hop music, being a whore, shaking ass, twerking. These are all black culture things that are a problem.
All races can do all of those things.
What was that?
All races can do all of those things.
Yeah, but it's black culture that promotes it the most.
Here's the thing. When it comes to this topic, right? All of that twerking, all of that, everything he listed, okay? Now we can go back in history to where you can say the white dude created war by coming over, still killing people and taking land. We could say they created the gangs by coming over here, and we could say that. But we've been the most publicized type figures to implement what we've seen. This goes back to what I said originally. Your environment, what you see. Some people can't think outside of what they see. So if you're brought over here and all you know is this, and you see these people do this, all you're going to know is this. All you're going to know is what you saw these people do. So of course you're going to implement the violence. Of course you're going to implement the gangs. Of course you're going to implement the R word when it comes to people. And of course you're going to implement violence. Why? Because you've seen it all your life from these people when you wasn't able to actually think outside the box, when you wasn't able to actually be able to learn anything, right? So of course you got to break the chains in the cycle, and then you got to realize nobody's gonna break chains in a cycle in 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, especially whenever the brain's been programmed and damaged for like 400 years to do this, do that, see what's going on. So What he's trying to explain to her is that and I agree with him on that. What he's trying to explain to her is that all of these traits that we once was categorized as, right? Well, no matter of fact, scratch that. He's not trying to explain that. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is all these traits we've been categorized as, right, has taken over the world. So everybody's doing it. Everybody's mimicking it. Everybody wants to be a part of it. When before it was just a selective group of demographical type people, us, who were subjected to it. It was our main stereotype. Now it's not. Everybody's subjected to it. Think about it. You see Asians, Koreans, Canadians. You see all of them wearing Jordans. You see all of them bumping hip hop. You see all of them wearing big chains. You see all of them with rings. You see all of them have that little slang talk. See what I'm saying? It was wrong when we did it at first. Now, since everybody's taken over, it's become the norm.
How is that true?
So isn't it crazy how like black people get mad at you if you like, talk about hip hop? That's our culture. And then I'm like, all right, well, that's your culture. No. How do you know it's not our culture? This is literally what black people talk about all the time. As a matter of fact, a lot of black activists will get mad if white people rap. They'll say, oh, he ain't one of us. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about racism. Blacks are some of the most racist people, if we're going to be honest.
I do agree that there is a big problem with racism in the black.
And they have a point when it comes to the black people in the racism. They have every right to be. They have every right to be. They have every right to be that way. I'm just saying. Now, am I saying that's a good thing? No, I never said it was a good thing. But they have every right to be that.
Culture, especially towards other people of color. I do agree that is a really big problem. But that still doesn't make racism to other people okay.
It's a reality.
I know it is a reality, and that's why people fight it. That's why we try to make it.
I look at it like it's a reality. People are going to not be racist. It's your job to prove the stereotypes wrong, because the stereotypes are always going to exist. Because the reality is people are always not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like they're going to assume certain things about you. And that's fine. It is what it is. It's life. Like we're going to assume Muslims are terrorists. We're going to assume blacks are criminals. Like white people can't dance and their chicken doesn't fucking get seasoned. Like we're just going to go ahead and assume these things. It is what it is. That's just the reality. Everyone has negative stereotypes. It's your job to prove the stereotypes wrong.
Oh yeah, I do agree with you on that point. I think it's good to prove stereotypes wrong, but I also don't think it's good for you to belittle people who fit the stereotypes.
I think it's good to belittle them that fit the stereotype. That's how you get them to change. That's another thing that we don't have. We need to bring back shaming.
I do agree.
Yeah, and bullying.
No, because bullying leads to suicide.
Shaming is bullying.
Bullying leads to.
I mean, here's the thing. People are soft nowadays.
We're not soft, we're aware.
No, they're soft.
People will talk about us being too woke, but now we just have more information and we're allowed to speak our opinions like I'm doing right now. We're allowed to speak our opinions.
Bullying is one of the best things that can happen, especially to men. It forces you to adapt. It forces you to go to the gym. It forces you to become stronger. It forces you to become not a retard. It forces you to become better. Like, I talk all the time. Like, for example, me, I was bullied as a kid. Me and one of my good friends, his name was Jordan Reed, right? He used to play for the 49ers. We grew up together. His brother, Brandon Reed, who ended up, getting a Super Bowl ring, etc., he used to bully us all the time. We used to get beat up. We couldn't beat them in basketball, but what did we do? We went in practice and we went to the basketball court to train to try to get better, and we eventually won a game against them. But we only did that because we had the fire in our ass to become better. Men need to be challenged. They need to be beat up a little bit. They need to take the L's. This is why, if we're going to be honest, like a lot of these movies aren't doing so well. Like these Marvel movies or these movies where it's the hero's journey and we're putting like women in it. The reality is like it's men that have to go through the hero's journey. It's not women. Right? That's why Captain Marvel, no one gave a fuck. Like, oh, you get powers from the beginning, nobody cares. So like all these woke movies are losing because it doesn't adhere to reality. The underdog, the guy that wins at the end after getting their asses whooped, it's a masculine journey. Men need to get bullied and deal with adversity to grow stronger.
I think that could be applied to everybody of every gender.
Well, I would say for men even more so. I wish women bullied each other more, but you guys don't. That's why a lot of you guys are fat.
I got bullied by my sisters a lot when I was younger, but they just helped me be like a better person.
But you're not a better person though. So you got bullied by your sisters when you was younger, but you're a better person. You're not a better person. If you was a better person, you wouldn't come up, you wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm a feminist, I'm this, you wouldn't do that. Because you will understand that you don't have to be a feminist to have a you don't have to put that label on yourself and rah against a gender, you know, because that's all feminist is, somebody who despises this other gender, somebody who has a problem with this gender because of their experiences in life with one person of that gender.
Well,
And I don't think like I don't think saying that's like okay, because a lot of bullying, especially nowadays, now that people are just, oh, they'll just say whatever they want, bullying leads to a lot more rates of, and you know who the most people are? Men, because men get bullied by other men and they think the only way they have to do this if they can't change is to kill themselves.
Yeah, it's because we live in a soft world.
And you continue to support
it's
that
because we live in a soft world where we don't tell guys that bullying is a rite of passage. We tell them, no, you should not be bullied. It's okay for you to be a depressed pussy. It's okay for you to be mediocre. It's okay for you to be broke. It's okay for you to be a skinny stick and be a fucking bitch. Like, we tell guys it's okay to be mediocre, but if we told them, look, you getting bullied is a rite of passage. Hazing is good. Getting your fucking stripes is good. Like, this is what we need to tell men instead, so they become stronger and they don't become weak. And here's the thing too that you guys got to understand. It's the women that suffer from this. As these guys become softer and softer and they don't want to ask you out on dates, or they tell you, let's go 50-50 or all other bullshit, who ends up losing? You guys lose because the men are weaker and don't want to do their jobs. So at the end of the day, weak men lead to hard times.
That's not true. I think you're preaching about what women want, but you're not a woman. And you'll see like, oh, every woman wants this, every woman wants this. First of all, every woman is different. Every person is different.
Women are far more rigid in what they want than men are. Way more.
What do you mean by that?
Women are far pickier than men are, and they want very similar things.
I don't think that's true. That's just from my personal experience. I don't think that's very
okay. Look, see, we want to lie here and beat around the bush. The reality is that women want guys that are over 6 feet tall. They want the guy that's in shape, a guy that's competent, a guy that makes a lot of money. They want these things. Like, women are far more rigid and selective in their mating process than men are. So women will sit there and say, I care about personality and friendship. Yeah, that's assuming everything else is met that they don't want to talk about because they don't want to be looked at as surface level and shallow. But the reality is the things that women are looking for are pretty fucking standard, and they're just not honest about it.
Well, I think everybody has their preferences. Like, what they want in a person is just who most people just want, a good person. And when you're a good person, then there are more opportunities for you than just for they've
done studies on. No, there's not. When you are a good person, no, it's not. There's a lot more opportunity for somebody to take advantage of you. That's how it is. Because, you know, you're a good person. Most of the time, you rarely run into another good person and y'all just, oh, we're both good people. There's always one good person. There's always somebody who's going to take advantage of that good person. There's always one good person. There's always somebody who's going to be like, I got me a good person, but they're going to toy around with the good person because they know they're a good person and the good person cares about them and the good person don't want to leave. That's how it works, bro. You know, that's exactly how it works. And how you could tell, how you could tell if a person's a good person or not, get into a heated argument with them. If they start talking about stuff outside of the argument, like if like you don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have that, they start throwing those type of jabs and all that, you already know they're not a good person. Called a selfish person.
Honest, the variance in like what women find attractive versus what men find attractive, women are far more narrow.
Women are based on
all the guys have the same
men.
archetype pretty much. Like versus for men, we're way more open with what we're attracted to. Women are not.
That is very much not true. All men must have the same preference, and it's already. All right,
let's go to the next person because we're short for time.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything Shorty talking about. Shorty just seemed like she kind of lost and confused, and she just seemed like she was just reaching, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but let me know what y'all think about that, man. Hope to see you guys in the Discord. The Discord link is in the description box below. Click on that link, become a member. Send me videos that you want me to react to in that Discord, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. And we out.